Hi everyone, my name is Wan Ting, and today I will be presenting my business research proposal titled Framing ESG Disclosure and Credibility, Theoretical and Contextual Insight from Shein's Sustainability Graphs. Shein's rapid global growth as a fast fashion giant has drawn attention to the reliability of its ESG reporting. While the company promotes a commitment to sustainability, many question whether its disclosure reflect actual practice. This study examined the credibility of Shein's ESG reports by comparing them with third-party evaluations. It aims to help stakeholders, from investors to consumers, make informed decisions, while supporting improved transparency and accountability in the fashion industry. While ESG awareness is growing globally, there are still major concerns about how companies disclose their ESG performance. Due to the lack of standardized frameworks, firms like Shein can selectively adopt metrics that portray a positive image, even when actual practice may fall short. Most disclosure lack third-party assurance, and ESG audits often rely on unreliable data or limited expertise. What's missing is a clear comparison between self-reported ESG grams and independent evaluations, especially in fast fashion where environmental and social concerns are high. Shein is chosen for this study as it is one of the market leaders in the fast fashion industry. By examining its ESG report credibility, the findings can reflect wider industry practice and reveal key implications for transparency and accountability. Building on the research problem, this study aims to assess the credibility of Shein's ESG disclosure by comparing them with third-party ESG performance data from 2021 to 2024. The study is designed with five key research objectives. First, to identify the ESG metrics, trends, and reported progress disclosed by Shein during this period. Second, to evaluate the actual environmental and social impacts of Shein's operations. Third, to assess the consistency between Shein's ESG reports and independent third-party evaluations. Fourth, to explore community perceptions in countries affected by Shein's and whether their experience align with the company's disclosure. And finally, to examine third-party verification methods and how effective they are in ensuring the credibility of Shein's ESG reporting. These objectives are supported by five research questions which guide the investigation. One ESG metric, achievements and disclosure method that Shein's report between 2021 and 2024. What are the actual environmental and social impacts of Shein's operations based on the third-party evaluation? Are there material inconsistency between Shein's reported ESG performance and real-world outcomes? And what are the possible causes? How do affected communities perceive Shein's ESG impacts, and do their experience reflect what is reported? Finally, how do third-party organizations verify Shein's ESG reports, and to what extent do these verification methods support credibility? Together, this question will help assess the gap between reporting and reality, and its implication for stakeholder trust and legitimacy. This study is guided by legitimacy theory and stakeholder theory, which together help explain how ESG report credibility influence stakeholder trust and company sustainability. Legitimacy theory suggests that companies seek societal approval by aligning with public expectations. In Shein's case, selective ESG disclosure or lack of third-party verifications may serve to maintain legitimacy despite ongoing environmental and social concerns. This helps explain potential gaps between self-reported ESG grams and third-party assessments. Stakeholder theory expands accountability beyond shareholders to include employees, communities, and consumers. These stakeholders rely on credible ESG reporting to make informed decisions. Inaccurate or misleading disclosure may weaken trust, affecting long-term support and Shin's social license to operate. Together, this theory provides a lens to exploit how ESG credibility shapes perceptions of responsibility and resilience. Many companies today use ESG reporting to build trust and appear socially responsible. However, the credibility of this disclosure is often assumed rather than critically assessed. This is particularly concerning in industries like fast fashion, where the gaps between sustainability claims and real-world impact can be wide. To understand why these methods, I will first look at a key study that show how ESG performance affect public perceptions and corporate resilience. Brockstore et al. Examined the role of ESG performance during financial crises using data from China during COVID-19. Grounded in stakeholder and legitimacy theories, the study found that companies with strong ESG score were more resilient and gained greater stakeholder trust. However, it overlooked concerns around greenwashing and disclosure credibility, particularly in industries like fast fashion. This highlights a research gap. While high ESG ratings build confidence, their accuracy and transparency were not questioned, which is critical to evaluating the true credibility of ESG disclosure. Chen et al. Explored the relationship between ESG ratings, financial performance, and greenwashing risk in China using urgency and risk management theories. They found that firms with strong ESG score may enjoy financial gains, but such performance can mislead stakeholders if the data lacks credibility. While the study highlights the risk of greenwashing, it does not explore this issue in sector-specific contexts, like fast fashions, leaving a gap in understanding how ESG reporting affects stakeholder decisions in controversial industry. He et al. Investigate the relationship between ESG performance and managerial misconduct using scenario theory. They argue that the high ESG score can be used to signal strong governance, but may also be a cover for unethical practice or manipulations. While this raised important concerns about ESG credibility, the study does not explore how to detect greenwashing or assess whether the disclosure aligns with real-world performance. In fast fashions, where reputation risk is high, this lack of detection method is critical. This gate highlights the urgent needs for studies like mine, which compare self-reported ESG data with third-party evaluations to uncover the discrepancies and prevent misleading signals. Nagnamaki et al. Examined the severe environmental impact of fast fashion industry and called for shared responsibility among stakeholders to address sustainability challenge. However, the study did not exploit how company continues to maintain legitimacy through ESG reporting, even while causing ongoing harm. This leaves a critical gap. Without analyzing how ESG frameworks are used to protect corporate image, we may overlook how sustainability claims are misused. In the case of Shein, this issue is especially urgent. The company presents ESG commitments while expanding a modern norm for environment degradation. This makes it essential to assess whether ESG reports truly reflect impacts or simply protect reputations. Big et al. Examined environmental injustice and health risks in fast fashion supply chain. Their study exposed severe harms to workers and ecosystems in developing countries, emphasizing the global inequality driven by the cheap fashion productions. However, the research did not exploit how ESG reporting could improve transparency or accountability. This leaves a major gap. Companies like Shein can continue harmful practices while maintaining a responsible public image through unchecked ESG claims. This makes my study crucial, and it focuses on evaluating credibility of ESG disclosure and how they align with real-world impacts. Without this, environmental injustice remains hidden behind polished reports. As shown in the literature, previous studies has examined ESG performance, stakeholder trust, and their impacts are fast factions. However, they often treat these errors separately and rarely address the credibility of ESG disclosure or their alignment with real-world outcomes, especially in the controversial firms like Shein. This study directly responds to that gap by examining inconsistency between ESG reports and third-party evaluations, offering both practical solutions for stakeholders and theoretical insight into ESG reporting practice. This study addressed a growing concern: the credibility of ESG disclosure, especially in fast fashion where standards are vague and reporting can be selective. By examining Shein's ESG reports against third-party evaluations, this research offers a practical tool for investors, consumers, and regulators to better assess ESG claims. It supports more informed decisions, reduce greenwashing risks, and strengthen accountability. Theoretically, the study filled a gap by connecting ESG credibility, stakeholder trust, and real-world impacts, which are often studied in isolation. It also extends legitimacy and stakeholder theories by showing how ESG reporting shape or distort public perceptions and corporate reputations.